What happens when someone finally calls Donald Trump's lies out on live TV? This is exactly what Rick Wilson did, and trust me, you won't believe what happened next. The moment Rick Wilson went scorched earth on Donald Trump, it was like setting off a car alarm in the middle of Mar-a-Lago. The immediate meltdown from Trump was nothing short of a spectacle, red-faced, arms flailing, and in full tantrum mode. Was it the truth that cut too deep? Or did Rick Wilson somehow unlock the ultimate cheat code to trigger a Trump meltdown? Stick around because this one is almost too ridiculous to believe. Every time Trump touts his genius with tariffs, his supporters scream, "This is brilliant. We're going to be rich." They celebrate his every move, convinced that the art of the deal is a one-way ticket to prosperity. But the moment he's forced to backpedal or admit failure, what do they say? They shrug and claim, he's playing 47-dimensional quantum chess. You just don't understand. But it's all nonsense, and anyone who dares point it out, like Rick Wilson, finds themselves at the center of Trump's fury. And this time, it wasn't just any day in the orange-tinted soap opera that is Trump's life. This time, Rick Wilson dared to call Trump's bluff and expose the massive lies he's been telling the world. The truth hit too hard. Wilson unraveled Trump's narrative like a cheap sweater, revealing the emperor had no clothes. And trust me, this was no ordinary unraveling. It was a beautiful moment of exposing the fraud for what he truly is. Rick Wilson's response to Trump's threat to sue was a pure masterclass in defiance. "Go for it, Donald. I dare you." Those words resonated like a challenge, and Wilson didn't hold back. He wasn't just speaking to Trump, he was speaking to everyone who's been gaslit by him for years. "You are weak. You are impotent," Wilson said, calling Trump out for his lies and inability to handle criticism. And it didn't stop there. Wilson didn't just go after Trump's failures, but he went straight for the jugular, accusing Trump of being a threat to democracy itself. He wasn't just calling him a bad president, he was calling out Trump's entire political career as a sham. And boy, did it set Trump off. His reaction was a classic tantrum. Tweets flew, insults were hurled, and in a matter of minutes, the chaos was in full swing. You'd think someone told him his beloved KFC bucket meal was discontinued. But no, it was just Rick Wilson holding up the truth to the light, and Trump couldn't handle it. He was left flailing in desperation, trying to deflect, dodge, and deny. But the truth had already been set in motion, and there was no turning back. Trump, who usually prides himself on having the thickest skin, couldn't handle it when someone called him out. It was like a toddler's first experience with a no, his ego couldn't take it. As Wilson laughed at the chaos, Trump's meltdown only deepened. The more Wilson pushed, the more Trump floundered. He couldn't stop himself from digging deeper into his web of lies. But here's the thing, Rick Wilson has been calling out Trump's lies for years. This wasn't his first rodeo, and it certainly won't be his last. For Trump, lies are the foundation of his persona. He thrives on deception, manipulation, and deflection. And as long as he has a loyal following willing to believe whatever comes out of his mouth, the show will continue. But there's a problem with that. Wilson is here to challenge the narrative, and he's not letting it slide. He isn't here for the fantasy Trump's been selling. He's been deconstructing it for years, and every time Trump tries to pull the wool over the eyes of the public, Wilson is there, calling out the absurdity. It's almost as if Trump lives in a parallel universe. One moment he's America's savior, the next he's the biggest victim of all, persecuted by a shadowy group that includes everyone from the deep state to late-night comedians. It's a never-ending loop of grandiose claims and victimhood, but at its core, it's all just smoke and mirrors. Rick Wilson has been relentless in exposing this. He's pointed out how Trump's supposed achievements, like the economy, were anything but perfect. Job losses, deficits, scandals, none of that fits into the narrative Trump and his followers have been telling. And when you point out these flaws, Trump doesn't have a coherent defense. Instead, he resorts to the same tired tactics, name-calling, wild accusations, and frantic gestures that suggest he's got no real answers. If throwing a tantrum was an Olympic sport, Trump would have taken home gold, silver, and bronze before even warming up. His arms flail, his voice rises to that signature shrill, and it's as if the entire world is conspiring against him. The level of desperation is off the charts, and it's all there for everyone to see. It's like watching a man trying to convince a room full of people that a used car is a brand new luxury vehicle. The more he gestures, the more the reality sets in, he's got nothing. And yet, Trump believes it all. He truly believes his own delusions. He's so detached from reality that he's convinced himself he's the only one who sees the truth. The media is corrupt. The system is rigged. Everyone is out to get him. Never mind the fact that the only thing getting him at this point is the overwhelming weight of reality itself. Rick Wilson has been there every step of the way, pointing out the absurdity. Trump's historic economy, the massive failures of his policies, the constant scandals, and his never-ending rant about the 2020 election, none of it adds up. But it doesn't matter to Trump. As long as he has his audience, he can keep playing the same game, lie, deflect, play the victim, and repeat. But Rick Wilson isn't going to let that happen. Trump's world is a never-ending grift, and the lies are getting more ridiculous by the day. Yet, even his most loyal supporters have to twist themselves into pretzels to keep up with the narrative. But Wilson won't let the show go on unchecked. He's calling out the lies, and he's not backing down. So, Donald, go ahead. Try to sue Rick Wilson. But we all know you won't do it. You're not going to do a damn thing because, at the end of the day, you're weak, impotent, and living in a reality of your own making. And Rick Wilson will be right here, ready to keep calling you out, every single day.